Okay, it looks like most of these went well, except right at the end here, where you're doing the greater than 0 and less than 0. This is right. I think it's only half the answer, so I'll show that up on the graph. This, I think you got messed up at the asymptote. So let me show you those up here. So there's our graph. And so for all the places that x is, let me just get my keyboard out of the way so I can get my mouse in here. All the places where the function is greater than 0. So that would be from negative infinity up to that 4, this whole interval, and then we would jump over here and do from 0 to 2. And the inequalities didn't have equals, so then that means everything's in parentheses, so you don't have to worry about brackets and parentheses here. And then the last thing I'd say is anytime we're using interval notation, remember we're always going from small to large or left to right. So this would go from negative infinity up to negative 4, and then union that to, 0 to 2. So that would be where the function is greater than 0. So then we have to write the opposite for where the function is less than 0. So that's any place it would be below the x-axis. So from here, our first one we would have from negative 4 up to 0. And I think it's this next interval that messed you up. So now we're going from 2, and it totally feels like we're going to negative infinity. But remember, these are x values that we're reporting, all of the stuff we're doing on the x-axis. So this is going from 2 to 4. If we were talking about the range of this, that absolutely goes to negative infinity because that's your y values. But here we're talking about the interval on which the y values are either greater or less than 0. So the x interval in which that's happening is from 2 to 4. And then again, that 4 is doing crazy stuff, but that's cool because there's no bracket on this. We're not including the 4. We're just saying we're getting closer to 4. And then from 4 to infinity. Because indeed, anywhere from 4 to infinity, this function is negative. So I think that asymptote got you. And then when I was looking at this, where did I put my other mouse? Oh, right here. I noticed this one down here, so let me just answer that question for you while we're making a video. So this one was asking to find the x-intercepts, but it's asking it in kind of a funky way in that, let me write it over here. It's saying h of what values makes what as a way to write the x-intercepts. So just looking at this graph, we know these x-intercepts were at, let's see, negative 2 and 0 and positive 1 and 0. Oops, and actually I just noticed I wrote an answer there instead of what I meant to write. No. There we go. So h of 0 equals something. Sorry, is what I should have said there. So remember when we're finding h of something, like here where you found h of negative 3, you went when x is negative 3, the output, the y value is negative 2. So that totally makes sense. Here where it's a pair of numbers, we're saying h of negative 2 or 1, either one of those will produce an output of 0 right there. So that's what this is looking for. And then the y-intercept, so the y-intercept is at, if I write that as an ordered pair just to kind of show what we're doing. So here h of 0 makes an output of negative 2. So that's right here, you'll see h of 0 comes out negative 2. So I think you probably what you're doing is just the input on that's a little funky. So hopefully that helps.